Hello, we're back. We're back here with added dog. There we go. We've reconvened. The thrumming, pulsating noise of the black and chrome core is making any conversation here that isn't that's more complicated than kind of very simple words. An exercise in yelling as loud as you can to each other, which obviously is great for stealth when you're trying to carry out some kind of illegal operation in a place. What are we talking about and what are we doing, folks?
So there's one room that we haven't got a good view of yet.
Correct, on this low floor. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And you know what? I'm going to give you this one as a freebie. It has a sign on the door that says staff. Staff only, probably. There's no one guarding it, though.
Is the door open to that, or is it closed?
It's closed. You can't tell if it's locked or not. There's no one guarding it, and there is only one SecOp guy
on this floor,
in this room patrolling around. So you could try and do it when they're not looking, for sure. Like all of you slipping in would be more obvious than one of you doing it, obviously. But
I'm also going to call out the fact that the majority of the pigs are in the card room. Like there were 6 of them there.
Mm-hmm. I think 7 in total, and 2 of them were heavily armed.
But I would kind of, I suppose, another thing I'd like to point out: are there any just kind of people sitting around appreciating the music, or monged out of their faces, or?
Yeah, there's loads of people. Yeah, you've just described the majority of the people in this room. Absolutely, for sure.
So I'm just going to kind of ask, I'm going to say, look, I'm going to set up some apps. So I'll be back in 5, but I'm going to stay in this room. Okay. And I'm going to go and just sit down and just appear monged, but while appearing monged and waiting for the guard to be as far away from me as possible, I am going to jack on, I suppose.
Absolutely. So to do this, obviously you've got your cyber deck in place, and you need some kind of you've got like the visor that's associated with it that you link into. Clearly the like internal system of the getting into the internal system of the building would require like actually porting in, because it won't be linked to the outside. That's stupid. Like, no one in this kind of business would ever do something as rash as that. So you're effectively in your own space in the net here. And you can just slouch over and do what you will. What kind of thing are you interested in doing?
So I have the capability to digitally tag a space so that I can activate apps as though I were telepresent in it.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the system I would like to roll out, because I can tag up to 2 places at once. And this, I'd like the main room to be the first of them.
Absolutely.
And let me get the actual details of what happens.
For apps, yeah.
Yep. So this is Sigil tag, and there doesn't seem to be a roll. It's just
no. To use an app, you need to roll knowledge D12, knowledge DR12 while jacked into a deck.
Okay, so I am jacked into a deck, so I'm going to make my roll. Boop. Oh God, I just rolled 44. Hang on.
I mean, it's a good roll.
Yes, a success, right?
So is 18, which is a success.
It is absolutely a success. So you can tag up to 2 locations. So, okay, yeah, this main area is successfully sigil tagged. What does that look like in the net to you, Chris? Describe what, because I'm imagining a lot of the net, like the rudimentary with like a cyber deck as cheap as yours, it almost literally looks like 90s VR, like blocky, like blocky imaging of the space you're in, maybe with the occasional advertising rolling past.
Well, Ichla is a former professional at this kind of thing, so not without guile, but also has in recent years come across a bit of a fascination with the urban art of tagging and graffiti. So HLAD does have a number of kind of personally identifiable tags, and for someone who's pretty skilled at negotiating virtual spaces, they will occasionally see a little flicker. Maybe some of the texture paneling on a wall in augmented reality will drop out, and behind it there will be just that little identifying sigil, and then it will come back a couple of seconds later.
Absolutely. Cool. Well, that's what's happening on the net in the main room there, at least for HLAR. No one else perceives this in any way, shape, or form. And wouldn't, even if you yourself tapped into your own access to the net, which I don't think any of you have anyway. So while this is happening, it seemed to me like Jan was giving very strong thought to trying to sort of make his way into this staff room.
Yeah, so what I'm wondering is, obviously I have my Robo K9.
Mm-hmm.
In this world and universe, which maybe or may not be our own in the future, are they programmed to sort of behave like dogs if not being commanded? But basically what I'm trying to figure out is, could I pass that if the dog nudges the door to the room open? Could I be like, oh, silly, come over here, kind of thing, and pass it off as because my concern is that there's going to be somebody sitting in there, 5 foot away from the door.
Yeah.
So even if nobody out here sees me, if I go up and they're like, it
you could pretend that it's the I think so. Like it's up to you if you want your K9 to be like essentially like, and I think it won't act like a real dog. I think it'll act like what people think a dog acts like. Because the high likelihood is that none of you have ever seen a dog.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to kind of what I'm going to do actually is go to the bar and get a drink, so that I don't just look like I'm wandering around, not gambling and not drinking.
Sure. Yeah.
And then I'm going to get whatever is cheapest because I'm not going to drink it, so it doesn't matter. And I am then going to stand, kind of linger relatively near the door so that I can see in. And I'm going to get the dog to push the door,
nudge it open first, and then follow it in.
But I'm also going to wait until the suck-up has moved so that he's facing the other way and kind of.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, for all that, then let's start with. You know what? You spent a longer time enough in this room and are doing something specific. I'd like a random encounter roll. So if you give me a D8 first off, and see if this is interrupted by any kind of filthy activity. Nope. And then give me an agility roll, please. And I'm going to say this is a difficulty of 8. I think it's pretty low given the circumstances.
Agility is my good stat as well. I have a 3, and I've rolled an 11, so 14.
Yeah, perfect. Absolutely. The dog nudges open the door, but there's no one inside, and you just slip through to reveal a room whose primary vibes are joyless late nights, broken dreams, and clocking in. There are lockers, a coat rack, motivational posters that say things like, "We soar as high as our whales' pockets are deep. They play, we don't, and spark joy!" Exclamation mark. I just want you very much to know that the exclamation mark exists. It's important to me that you know that. God, this is so weird. Look, I have to kind of like clear away in chunks. It's so odd. There we go. It is a staff room, as you may have determined. There seems to be a service elevator in here that seems to be capable of going up and down. There is what looks to be a burglary damaged back door, which presumably leads out onto those stairs and balconies. That's about it, really.
Okay, am I okay to put the map back up?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
In that case, I will get back out of the room. I'm hoping that I've sort of surveyed the security guy for long enough to have a vague idea of when he might be coming back around. So I'm not going to step out as he's standing there.
Yeah, sure.
But if that's all that's in the room, I've probably been in there for a short number of seconds and just gone straight back out, I think.
Yeah, just kind of taking a look in and then backed out.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Not loads in there, apart from a door out to the balconies.
Cool. We know where the outside door leads into then.
It's I don't know if you're missing it out on purpose, but it's almost also probably worth mentioning the service elevator.
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, and a service elevator. Does it go up and down? Did you say?
You from a very quick perusal, it seemed to you to be able to go up and down.
Yeah, could be useful for the power supply and if we need to get upstairs.
That's the mark then. So we either all sneak in there now or sneak in after they clock out.
Are there any uniforms we might be able to nab for a bit of...
Not without bringing down those sec ops guys, and they look pretty well armed.
What's the plan? Are we coming back when it's closed, or
can we start a fight? I'll look over at there's probably a bit of a pit going on there.
Oh yeah.
If we fight. Completely. I don't know if it'll help, but I'll happily start a fight.
Just get the sec ops guys to engage there so they don't glance at us as we sneak through the door.
I mean, there is only one sec op in here. It's a fairly easy sneak in.
Should we just go?
It's easy. It's fine.
Let's go.
Okay.
No.
I don't know, but Steve seems to be of a different opinion there.
I was just going to say, we've no idea what's down there. Are you just going to walk in and?
Well, look, we've got a database to find. Honestly, I think up might be a better place to store the data than down. I don't know. I can't get the plans of this place without setting off alarms halfway across the net.
What if we wipe out the power?
It'd be chaos. There would be chaos.
The power's down, we know that much.
Down it is then. I like it. Bit of chaos.
Yes, side.
Yep.
Is there any visible staircase down?
No.
So, presumably, if the power, or maybe if the power's not working, does the lift work?
Good point.
I feel I should mention the canal entrance.
Oh, is that like comes in below?
It's down. Yeah.
Mm.
You don't know the layout of that, but the canal entrance was down.
So we don't know where the database is. We know where the power is. Are you saying we've got 2 days to do this? Are you saying we just go in blind and
feel around in the dark? Or hide until after hours? And, oh God, I'm not spending 2 hours slouched in this place.
The only other thing that we could do is try and recon the canal entrance a little. Whether or not that would be helpful but
at least we know there's a reasonably easy way back in here, regardless of what time of day it is. So yeah, I mean, yeah. Like, I think we've got the measure of this place now. It's not like they're going to have enough security on the canal entrance, given there's barely any security on the back door.
I could try and look around upstairs if someone watches me.
I'll watch you.
Cool. Then I'm just going to do all of the drugs.
Sure. So I take it you are scoping out upstairs with your nano power of swarm trip.
If I don't die.
Like, yeah, sure. Yeah, absolutely. So are you going to like slump in some of the seating along the walls in the same way that Chris did for his app use? Okay, let's do this. So what this it entails, let's just explain what it is to the people reading. Zine's mind will be transferred to a flying swarm of bacteria for 10 minutes. Can move through any crack or hole, can see whatever the swarm sees, but not hear or interact with anything. If the body is killed, or if Zine is not back at its body when the 10 minutes are up, it is stuck in the swarm forever. That's not the big risk. The big risk here is Zine just using this nano power, because using nano powers with low HP is pretty risky. I would say, you know what, that it does say when you finish after combat, you basically regain some toughness. I would say enough time has passed now that your dodgy locust belly has recovered itself, so take your HP back.
I've always said, Matt, you're a benevolent god.
I am. You're in bad enough shit already. That's just what I'm thinking.
What I want to make very clear that before I kind of like crash out after just taking like what is again like 4 or 5 persons amount of Sea Vortex, I'm gonna grab like Empho's wrist really hard and be like, if I'm not back, I'm dead. And then I'm going to just fall back.
Absolutely. So to use Nano, you have to test presence at DR12. The Sea Vortex you've taken reduces that DR by 2, I think, right?
50-50, baby.
What's it? Yeah. It reduces it by 2 for D10 minutes. So, I mean, just for the purposes, because who knows what's going to happen, give me a D10 roll to see how long it works for.
Yeah, that is something that I could do, I suppose. It works for 4 minutes, but that's
okay.
Yeah.
And then test your presence, please, at DR 10.
13.
There we go. Successful. Now, you define this, Justin, but as a suggestion, this thing of like transferring your mind to bacteria, these bacteria have to be around somehow, right? Do we think maybe they're what gives your head the like phosphorescence?
Yeah. Why
like
the F not?
Huge bacterially infested skull, and they like leak out of your.
They definitely come out through my respiratory
nose
system.
And eyes,
like my nose,
ears.
Well, you sure? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they're bacterial sized, so they probably at that point, once they're not condensed, they don't really give off light.
Yeah, they're just you can't see anything. So from Empho's point of view, you've just gone.
So as my consciousness transfers into this cloud of bacteria, every pulse of the music like moves through me in a much more visceral way.
Yeah,
and I shudder, pulsing with the music up towards the staircase and up into the VIP section.
Absolutely. You don't even need to use a staircase. I probably should have mentioned, by the way, that this central room is both floors, and you can see the VIP balcony it leads up to, but you can't see the rest of it. It's all walled off.
Cool.
So you can float up and investigate, and it's like 10 minutes. You got 10 minutes. You could definitely investigate the entire upper floor.
I'm looking for more staff-only areas, especially.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so as you say, you're like pulsing with this music. You can't hear it, but you can.
I can
feel
it,
like the vibration of it. So here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna owlbear rodeo into the upper floor.
Yeah, probably to cut away to other people when they want
essentially, no, we're just gonna go through this upper floor because you could just. This is the thing about the nano powers. They're dangerous, but like they're super fucking powerful. So, or everywhere that you can get through. What does it say about Like you can
I
move
can-
through any crack or hole. It says.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think you can get into most places on this top floor. So let's look at this. John, can you bring up the Owlbear Rodeo, please? There we go. So this is what we've got with the upstairs section. And
the real
obviously
question
I will
is
try
gonna
and
be, is 10 minutes enough for Matt to unfog this? You know, maybe I can't,
Quite.
maybe I won't be able to get to see everything.
Well, fortunately, the VIP balcony needs no unfogging. So we'll talk about that first. The VIP balcony, it refers to it here as the creme de la crap. Vulgar chrome and polished plastic and fool's gold, lingering synthetic opium mist, and the sense of not belonging. There's a number of things here that are hearing, so I won't mention them. Could you give me a D4 roll, please, Justin? Sorry, if you're indicating the number, you will need to speak.
4.
There are 5 well-armed VIP sec here. They're all armed with smart guns and shock sticks. There are a number of individuals who look like they're members of a local gang. Could you give me just a standard knowledge roll, please?
I got 17.
You recognize the sort of gang gear they're in. These are members of the Stone Eels, who with a gang that someone mentioned might be affiliated with them. Can you give me another knowledge roll at, let's say, a difficulty of 14?
I fail. Got 7.
Okay, never mind then. So there are a number of individuals here around playing poker who seem fairly well armed, as well as the VIP sec. There is a door to like the bottom of this area and a door to the top. Both of them seem to have enough holes and cracks and nooks and crannies that you could flow your form through. Which one do we want to go with first?
Whatever one looks most secure.
Okay, that will probably be the top one. So let's see if this is going to let me use it. Of course it isn't. It's so weird. It won't do whole bits at once. Just it's so weird. Okay, so this is essentially it's the same description. Yeah, it's literally just an extension of the VIP section.
Cool.
So
then
just
sweeping
through and on to the next bit. Okay, let's do this and that. And that, there we go. That went relatively well. This is an office.
Cool.
On the door of it, there is a nameplate for Vasca Jordan. It's sort of faux fancy, like an old school noir office without the glamour. It reeks of detergent and cheap perfume. The windows on it are the only windows you've seen in the place so far. They're covered by tattered curtains. Cheap wooden details around the room fail to give it a more classy old school look. Desks, armchairs, a small bar, and old bloodstains on the carpet. There is a monitor mounted on the wall that is cycling through a number of cameras in the entire place. There are no other computers and no papers. As I say, there's like a desk. And there is a stained jacket hanging on a hanger to the side of the door.
Can I spread myself over the desk and jacket to... I probably don't know how much I'll be able to actually see, but if there is anything to see inside any of the drawers,
to just try and
pockets.
filter in or whatever. Yeah. Let's say, by the way, that every significant action you take is 1 minute.
Yeah.
Okay. I will include fleeing as fast as possible back to your body in that. So you don't need to. We don't need to go to 5 minutes. We need, as long as you do 9 things.
Yeah,
we're fine. So I will say that going to the VIP bar, going to each room is 1 action. I'll say that doing that to each of these objects is also 1 action. So are you doing the desk first or the jacket first?
Let's go the jacket.
Okay, you basically sift yourself through this jacket. It seems to have both an old mechanical key in one of the pockets, and also a key tag, like an electronic key, in one of the other pockets. So that's what we're on. 1, 2, 3,
That's
4.
Yeah, my fourth action.
Are you doing the desk?
Yeah.
The desk has one of the locked desk drawers, which doesn't, it's just a mechanical lock, it doesn't provide any obstacle to you, contains condoms and a cred chip. You don't know how much is on it, and what looks to be a very old-fashioned revolver.
Cool.
So we're on 5. So the rest of what we've got on this floor, obviously we've got this door down to the bottom of what you can see on the screen that comes off the VIP balcony. We also have, you can't really see it here, but you see that long corridor leading like sort of north-south, as it were. There is an opening, like a passageway at the very bottom of it, leading off to the left.
I'm definitely going to go like sit down south down the corridor.
Like you're clockwise-ing it, sort of.
Yeah.
Okay. Then where you find yourself, and I'm not going to charge you an action for all this, only for kind of investigating rooms, is you find yourself in a passageway leading flush to the left along the wall of the casino that has a door at the end of it.
And there's no doors going left or right off this.
No.
Cool. Then I will, if I can sweep through the next door, then I will sweep through the next door.
You absolutely can go through the door that's off that kind of corridor. Sorry, I'll try and get as much of this as I can. Does that look right?
Yeah. Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, so this is that's the door at the end of the corridor that you've sort of passed through.
Action 6.
Action 6, indeed. Inside that room, you can't hear the hum, but you can feel the vibration of servers and blinking lights. There don't seem to be many of them, and they're all quite old. You know what? Give me a knowledge roll to see if you can pick up anything about these servers.
14.
Okay. The whole thing has the reek of dry air in the inside of a computer to it. Look, if they're using these servers as a database, then they're in more trouble than even you coming in. These are very underpowered. You would guess that they're actually just running various things, like maybe they're like what the RNG system for the slots or something is based on. Like, anyone worth their salt would not be using these pathetic little server racks as an actual database. So you suspect, but you don't know for sure, that this probably isn't the database.
Then I will, my plan is to push through to the next room then.
Sure. I would. When you say the next room, do you mean this door that you've uncovered here, or are you carrying on going more clockwise?
I would push deeper into that next door, past through the tech room.
Through the tech room, yeah.
Possible.
Well, for the first time, it isn't. This room is closed off, and it's closed off tight. There is a hermetically sealed doorway implanted into this wall, and you take a turn determining that. Like a
fair. That's fair.
So you've got 2 more things you can do before you have to flee back to your body.
Then let's go back and see if I can circle around to the VIP room.
Circle round, and you know what? That will leave you uncovering this floor almost entirely, apart from that hermetically sealed room. You find yourself in a relatively large office space. It has a vibe of boredom and regret and wasted potential, a white-collar prison. There are 24 desks and a synth coffee maker in a featureless kitchenette. Can you give me a 3d6 roll, please?
$12.
There are 12 office workers glumly tapping away on various consoles or using their own AR to perform work. There is a service elevator in one corner.
Then
leading down to the...
Yeah, I'm gonna bug out and get back to my body before I'm trapped in as a storm of nanoparticles.
Storm of bacterial nanoparticles, absolutely. You flood back in, and I'm going to say going back into your body is like an incredible sensory overload for a moment because suddenly you have a body again. During this time, because this has taken 8-9 minutes.
A long time.
What has anyone else been doing? I'm assuming Empho has been guarding Zion's body, but other than that, what have people been doing?
Empho has been guarding Zion's body, but also very carefully examining his skull. The fact that it stopped glowing is weird, but it is still quite pointy. So,
Sure.
That's what I've been doing.
Anyone else?
Feel free to have gone. If you want to do your own investigations,
you can. I'll look after him.
Also, doing nothing and just watching the band and whatever is absolutely fine. Okay.
No, I think I would like to go and see these Sec Ops gentle friends, these wonderful, upstanding members of corporate community. Are any of them kind of overtly very cyberized?
The only ones who look to be, sometimes you can't tell, but everyone who's labeled a bouncer has those and this is just from the image I'm picking up on because there's nothing listed. They have those sort of half plates over their faces, right? Those you suspect would definitely be vulnerable to the thing you are thinking of, Chris, because I know what it is. And there's 2 of them at the main door and 1 of them in the hologames room. But all the other SecOps, honestly, what I'd be doing is rolling a die and giving you a relatively low chance to see if they're cyberized enough for the application of the app you have personally written.
Okay, I just wanted to get the environment we'll be working in, the theater, perhaps.
Are you setting up a sigil in any of the room while you're at it, or are you leaving it for now?
I think the rooms I have access to, this is the most
just the main
important room.
Yeah.
So I'm happy enough that that's here.
Okay. Wick, Jan?
I'd probably bob we're on a sort of a we've shared comms details, haven't we?
Yeah.
So we can pass messages between. Presuming that it's private, I would bob a message to HR explaining that yes, there are going to be cameras around, as well as killing the database. We're going to have to wipe any security footage if we can. So I'd talk about the camera in the lobby.
Okay.
Maybe scout around for
other cameras.
Yeah.
Okay, give me a presence roll at difficulty 8.
I rolled a 15, and my presence is.
There is a poorly hidden camera in every single room on this bottom floor, either by signs or nestled into unconvincing fake plants, that kind of thing. They are very poorly concealed, but there's a camera in every room for sure. Probably including the staff room, Jan.
I'm going to stroll up the VIP stairs.
Just literally pull the chain to one
convincingly.
side. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. You pull it to one side. Let's roll. Why don't you give me a? Because there's only one SecOp in this room, right? Are you? But you said you're doing it convincingly. Are you timing it so he's not looking? Or are you just going for it?
I'm timing it so he's not looking, but
okay.
I'm going with conviction.
Yeah. For when you get to the top, sort of thing. Okay. Well, let's give me an agility roll, please. Then, and I think we said it was difficulty 8 for going into the staff room, right? I see no reason why it would be any different. So go for an agility roll 8.
I rolled an 8 and have a +3, so 11.
Perfect. So the SecOp down here does not notice you. It's safe to say, though, up on the VIP balcony, those VIP secs I mentioned up there, they are watching the stairs, right? So you won't be able to just immediately get past them. Does anyone remember how many? I think Justin rolled for 5 there, right? Like quite a few of them.
Yeah, I rolled 5 VIP security.
Yeah. So as you reach the top of the stairs, one of them, there's 2 of them watching the stairs. One of them just takes a step forward and kind of peers through the slight sort of level of well, I said a synthetic opium mist, and I'm going to say that actually is, it's not entirely transparent. Like, it's got a sort of like yellowish brownish hue to it, and he sort of peers through that for a second at you, before, with a kind of like slightly synthesized voice box, just says, "Who are you?"
I'm just up here for a drink. Meet a friend.
You got a pass?
A pass?
Not just anyone up here.
I know, or I wouldn't be here.
Who's your friend?
I'll peer around and see it, on the off chance that I see anybody I know. I'm not
Sure.
expecting to.
Well,
but-
you know, like, let's have you make the same rolls that Zine did of the stone eels up here. First off, give me a knowledge roll at just a standard knowledge roll.
I have a -1 in knowledge, and I rolled a 2. But can I use a glitch?
You can absolutely use a glitch. Yeah. So that's using it for a reroll, right? Yeah.
That is a 4 with a -1.
There we go. Yeah, you got no idea who anyone up here is.
Okay, I'll say they told me to meet them here.
Meet them here. Name?
I'll pick a name out of thin air that I know, but say it with conviction and just.
Sure, yeah. Can you give me a D20 roll, and all I need to know, Johnny, is if you get a 20.
Okay, I'm going to say the name Shade because I've just looked at the name thing, and that's cool. No, that's an 18.
Yeah. He reaches to his holster and he's not aiming the smart gun at you, but he's holding it in front of him significantly, and says, "Get out of here, buddy. Go on. Go listen to the band. This ain't for you." He looks like he's perfectly happy to just start firing.
Fair enough. I'm going to turn around and walk off. I'm going to leave the dog up here. Hopefully.
Can the dog the dog has stats, right? Does the dog have stats?
Only attack stats.
Only attack stats. Okay. Right. I'm going to say, I think this is pretty, like, not noticing a cybernetic dog is pretty big deal. So I'm going to say you make the roll for the dog, and the roll is like a 16. No.
But can I just say, I'm going to be keeping an eye as I'm walking away, and if I spot that he's spotted, I'm going to call him. So it'll be like, I'll plan to leave him if it works. If it doesn't, I'm not leaving it.
Yeah, I love the atmospheric dog barking we're getting, by the way.
Perfect timing. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, he does look down at the dog, and you kind of call for it, and he sort of aims. He doesn't actually kick the dog, but he scuffs his foot through the air behind it and goes, "Yeah, your dog too."
I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to continue walking.
Sure. He follows you down the stairs and hooks the chain over at the base of the stairs behind you. Okay, I think that will probably consume the time needed for Zine to return to its body. So there we go. Zine can kind of report back to the rest of you on what it has found.
Yeah, what Zine's report is going to be is a real broken up, meandering, tour through the upstairs, but focusing on that there's this guy's office in that corner over there, and in there's some key cards, and then the server room and the hermetically sealed room. And maybe don't bother going up through the elevator is a good way to go up, but there's going to be a ton of staff there if we go during the day. or maybe any time. And you're muted, Matt.
Thank you. As you give that report, because we went to a lot of rooms there, I didn't make you roll for the random encounters while you were a cloud of sentient bacteria, because it was like, well, how that's not that interesting. So why don't you roll for one now in the main room, please, Justin, and let me know if it's a D8.
Yeah. 3.
No, nothing. So group is ready, good to go whenever you want to do.
It's coming by the river.
We're going to do more recon outside in, or we want to? Do we? That's safest, I guess.
I want to check the river, see if the entrance is worthwhile. If there's anything else we can look at, but if what Zine said is correct, then it seems that this place is an absolute circus, but it's not completely inept with their security. So
yeah, I'll make sure I lay out how many security guards there are for everything too, and stress.
Yeah. Sure.
Definitely don't want to head up to the second floor without, I don't know, some kind of major distraction. But that's probably where the goods are.
Absolutely. So is the idea? Well, that's HLA's proposal. What are other people following that? The idea is to try and go in via the canal entrance.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
I certainly want to scout the canal entrance in a lot more detail. Whether or not we're committing to actually breaking and entering at this stage.
Sure. So we are leaving the Lucky Flight through the main entrance, heading back down to the street and trying to find some way down to that canal pier. Or are we trying to find a way to clamber down there, or are we just going to bite the bullet and hire a boat to take you to the pier? Boats are not cheap, I'll say that.
How much?
Well, you're going to go negotiate to find that out. I will just say not cheap. I will put it so far as to say that I think you will have to one of you is probably no longer paying for it. If you see what I mean?
Yeah.
You're going to have to put chip in each to go to it.
Well, I reckon trying to find a way down.
You can go down by the canal where the boats hire out if you want to find out.
Yeah, let's do that.
Can't we just get a rope? Wouldn't a rope be cheaper?
Bit more obvious, but
I don't know if they're. I think that whatever they're doing, it's inside that culvert they have going on. I don't think they're going to have a camera over the actual pier.
Can I get my spider drone to sort of? Can it cling to surfaces, or is it just on the flat? Because if it can kind of scuttle down a wall, I might try and.
The wall itself down to the canalway is slick and difficult. You can try it if you want, but you are at risk of your turret just dropping into the canal.
No, not doing
we
that.
We really are grappling with this problem, aren't we?
See what you did there.
I'm going to point out this big window that that's where the boss's office is. There.
Yeah, but you said it was empty.
That's the way in.
It's got some keys in there.
It's got some keys. You can get to there so you can get to the server room without having to go through anyone.
Well, we can get to that. Speaking as out of character, we could get to that office, but I guess so, actually.
There seems to be a number of things being punted around here. One is to find some way, perhaps with a grappling hook gun, to scale down to that culvert at the canal. Another one is to use the grappling hook, presumably again, to scale up to the office window. Or we could go find out how much it would cost to just hire a boat to take you to that.
I would like to know that information.
Sure. Well, then sounds like Zine. It's just going to wander off, and you don't have to go far. It's just down by the side of the canal, down to a few sets of stairs and stuff.
I'll also go because I've got proven experience at negotiating my way well into a situation.
Sure,
I
absolutely.
mean, I wouldn't trust Zion to negotiate a boat for you. Like, you don't know what you're going to end up with.
Is the group in general just going down there? And if so, who is going to try and negotiate with one of these taxi boats?
I think I will probably stay up at kind of the railing to where the above where the pier is, and I'm just gonna once again I'm going to case the joint just on the off chance that we've missed some kind of periodic check or periodic comings and goings that we haven't spotted before.
Sure.
I would like to go down to the pier, but more use it in order to try and. So I have a vision visor that has night vision. And I would like to try and get a look at the entrance from a lower perspective with a bit of a zoom on. And I'm mostly curious as to whether there are any boats already there.
I mean, you can see that there aren't.
Okay, then never mind then.
The docking is like right at the end of the pier.
Right.
Okay, so Zine and Wick and Jan are going down and finding out how much things cost. Who is going to try and negotiate with one of the gouging mercenary taxi boat steerage people who are, boats, weirdly, given how much it stinks, is one of the most expensive ways to make your way around the city, because you know what? No one really jacks boats. But they definitely do everything else. So, yeah. Who's going to do the negotiating? It's going to be a presence roll, just so we know.
Yeah, Wick isn't great at negotiation, generally.
Zion's going to do it. Zion, with the umming and ahhing, Zion is going to... His curiosity overcomes him, and twitching... and still, a little messed up. He wanders over to one of these scalps and asks how much it is for a paddle.
Okay, give me a presence check, please. Just standard difficulty, 12.
3.
Well, there we go. Do you want to do a d6 roll as well to just see how much over the amount?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't take Zine on a good day, especially not after he's clearly all messed up. I rolled a 1. So...
Okay, so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to literally double the cost of how much it would normally cost to take this boat out. And this kind of boat taxi individual, what is like little more than just like a little motorboat. Yep. Like not, you'd have to crowd yourselves into it. He kind of turns round and sort of looks you up and down a little bit and says, 200.
Don't have 200 right now. No, like 10.
200.
Have a nice night. Have a nice night. And I slump off. He said it was 200, but like he points to the head, points at himself. Like, I don't know.
So how many people are around here? Like how many scalpers? How many?
We're not rolling for presents until we get a good result. Like it's going to cost you 200.
I think.
Yeah, no, I was thinking of a more like how many witnesses?
Yeah, I think we can take him. I think
loads.
we can take him.
Right.
Low. Okay. Oh yeah, you can absolutely take him, but everyone here would see you cut him down and take his boat. It's up to you whether that's a problem.
It's a bit unsubtle.
Yeah, might attract attention.
Would you accept a reroll if someone tries a different tactic of convincing?
No, because Zine is going to be on the boat no matter what.
That's fair enough.
I would assume.
That is maybe not true, but yeah.
That is maybe not true. Yeah. But also, if you're just going back up to him as a different person and asking for exactly the same boat trip, he might see through that subtle ruse. All of which is to say, I'm avoiding my own bugbear of just the players roll it in rotation until they get the result they want. It's going to cost you 200 if you want him to take you to a private dock.
And let that
Because
be a
he's
lesson
risking
for-
getting shot by casino security.
That's fair.
Also, there's going to be a filthy, horrible, nano-infested nightmare on his boat, and he doesn't want that.
Thank you.
What are we doing?
Well, short of stealing a boat somewhere else or threatening somebody to take us there, I think we're going to have to find our own way down.
And you probably have 200 between you, right? Maybe?
Well, I've got 60 now because I converted 30. So,
I've got
I mean, maybe.
I've got 70.
We have it between us.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's even worth doing that. I think we could just come back when it's closed, see if we can. It looked like it sounds like that back door's pretty loose. If we rush through, maybe the office is empty.
I'd still like to have another way out. If we can hire the boat for, just get him to maybe leave it there. I don't know. Having an alternate way out of this place would be could be useful.
Someone's going to have to make a decision, folks.
Zion is not bothered.
I'm willing to. I'm willing to bet on us fighting our way out. So, I think there's other ways of getting down to wherever that canal leads.
Did we spot boats at the mooring at the casino side?
No.
Right.
What if we got a cyber rope? Would that improve matters?
If you just got a rope, yeah, you could climb down the rope. I mean,
But the rope idea, the rope idea has lost traction.
You've got a
so
grappling
I'm
hook.
trying to G it up a bit to get
Yeah,
more
you've
people.
literally got a grappling hook. If you want to try it, you can do. It won't be very straightforward, and you risk falling in the canal. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
And the situation here is essentially if we get him to take us over there and we go in that way, he's not going to wait for us.
Oh no,
So
he's
we'd
going
be
to fuck off
somewhere that
immediately.
we'd be somewhere that we haven't scoped with potentially no way out.
Mhm.
So that is not a preferable situation.
we can
Maybe
get down
we
if we
just-
want to.
So are we going to
you know.
reconvene so we can get this back in character as well?
Yeah, sure.
Because I was upcasing the joint. So let's say
Yeah.
we've all reconvened, and I'll be
Yeah, you're all kind of roughly where you arrived when you first arrived in the area.
So we know what's going on upstairs. The mark is almost certainly up there. We don't have to destroy the place, do we? I mean, we've got to find out what happened to the last schmuck they sent to do this job, but he's probably in a carrier bag in the flipping freezer for all our luck. We can do this without going downstairs at all.
Just while
Maybe.
you're discussing this, can I get a D100 roll from Jonny, please?
Could. I mean, we have been asked to find out what happened to him. And he
Extra
probably
credit.
kept downstairs. And we have also been asked to shut it down permanently, preferably in a way that doesn't actually kill all the staff. So maybe taking out the power supply would be...
But also, that's
Or-
not trivial.
Or taking out the whole building when it's closed.
As your conversation goes on, a little further down the road from you, a three-way firefight breaks out as an emergency response team is trying to reach a bleeding client in the middle of a gang shootout. You don't feel the need to flip. This just happens.
Just happens.
Third of the night.
Doing it after hours probably makes the most sense. I want to actually. I'll kind of sidle up to where the lowest level of the stairway, the back stairway, kind of disgorges onto the street. Does it look like it sees a lot of traffic, or does it look kind of rusted and kind of largely?
Yeah, nah, it looks pretty battered and rusted.
Wander back and go, yeah. Like the staff don't come out that way. The staff either stay here all night or they leave by the front gate. So we could just keep an eye on the place, count the bouncers as they leave.
Yeah, I think whatever we're going to do, we should do it when it's closed.
If that office clears out, then I think that's the best time, because we can go up through the elevator or down all the way to the basement and scope it out on our way out.
Yeah, sounds good. God, I wish I could afford some food.
So the idea is to leave and come back here when the place closes at 7 in the morning, right? Okay. With that in mind, I think I'm happy for us to gloss over that. Everyone can regain their glitches. I think we only spent 1, maybe 2. And then I'm perfectly happy for you to gather here again. Chris, could I get a D12 roll, please?
Let's go. 12.
Oh, then the weather, my friends, is Dead Channel Sky. References, which is, of course, barely perceptible through the haze of the locus overhead. But for what it's worth, the sky is indeed the color of a television tuned to a dead channel. And yeah, you all gather. You know, it's 7 in the morning. There's much less noise coming from the casino, but there is still the noise coming, the roaring noise of the city itself, and the sound of the vehicles taking off from the airport across the canal. So the idea is that we're going up through the stairs, like the fire exit type entrance. Is that the idea?
I believe that was the idea.
Yeah, because it's the you said that the back door looked like it had taken some damage from a break-in attempt or something, so it might be
it did look like that. Okay, so you're kind of like, are we bothering to sneak up to that point, or are we just kind of meandering around the building to there, and then we're in stealth mode?
Happy to sneak.
I think you'd probably want to go around, like you don't want to look like you're walking straight to that.
Yeah,
so
not
you can necessarily...
like go around or the long way around the building. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
I think that's the sneak. We're kind of topologically sneaking, not necessarily cloak and dagger tiptoeing down the main street.
Absolutely. Well, that sounds good to me. So let's have you sort of sneaking around there. That's fine. I'm not even going to ask for a roll. The doors are closed. Let me just check and see if at this time of day there's any significant things outside there. No, steel gates block the doors. They look thoroughly impossible to open without noise. Otherwise, it's empty. There's no sign of any bouncers. As you're sneaking around the building, let's have another city event. Justin, can I have a D100 roll, please?
32.
32. There is a small group kind of around the back of the building, sort of above where the canal entrance is, of roadrunners. Those are kind of the equivalent of nomads in Cyberpunk 2020, kind of travelers who live maybe outside or on the borders of size limits. And they are trading what looks like real meat and tobacco for any kind of drugs. There are a number of quite desperate people sort of unbelieving the fact that this is food and they are trading for it. The roadrunners seem utterly unconcerned that they're giving away food in the current circumstances.
Kind of wonder where it came from.
Has anyone got any drugs to trade?
I am terrified of them because I owe them money. Well, I owe a Roadrunner clan money.
Yeah, generally.
And-
Hey, a lot of Roadrunners know each other, so yeah, you might want to stay clear. That sounds like no one has any drugs. How very
I have no
non-cyberpunky of you.
Yeah.
I can't afford them.
That's true. It's true. Well, you're going to have to just walk past the tantalizing smell of that real uncooked meat then. And round to the other side where you're at the base of these stairs. So as I said before, the sort of makeup of them is there are a set of grated stairs and balconies that are accessed from a relatively dark back alley next to the building. So there are these kind of metal grates and gates to get through. I said they were all mechanical. They indeed look to be that way. How are we looking to get through those?
I think Empho had an option for that.
Well, are we still sneaking?
You ain't
I
going to be
say-
sneaking if you're using a chainsaw.
Jan, come on, can't you deal with this?
They might not hear you inside, or they might not know that someone is carving through the gates with a chainsaw.
Let's go for it.
Let's fucking do it.
Wait, can we?
It's a laser turret quieter than a chainsaw.
Your laser wouldn't get through this
Right.
metal.
I mean, none of us. If none of us bought bolt cutters, then we use the chainsaw, right?
Would a small bottle of pulverized acid get through them?
It would get through one of them,
Hmm.
probably. I'm gonna let me count. Let me look at what it looks like on the map, and I'll say how many gates there are there. I think it looks like there are one, two, three. Sort of. Well, you know what? You could try and use pulverized acid to get through one, and then we'll roll luck to see if you've got any left. You could also literally just try and, lockpick or kick them down or any number of things.
What would? I could try lockpicking. It's the less fun option.
Sure.
But let's see what my chances are with it.
Sure. Well, at this bottom one seems to have been maybe maintained more frequently than some of the others. Can you give me? I'd say it's probably an agility roll, right? Maybe. Yeah, I'd say it's an agility roll at a DR of 14.
Okay. I do not succeed.
Yeah, no, this does not look jimmyable.
I pull out the chainsaw.
Sure. So if you give me a strength roll, please.
Wait,
That's
hang
a-
on.
Empho,
Hmm?
if you have acid to use, should we use that on the one that would take the longest to saw through?
Yes. Or at least on the first one, because that gives them less warning.
Yeah.
Empho sighs somewhat and tucks the chainsaw back into his coat and then pulls out the acid.
I like the idea that you're literally like partway down the ripcord.
Yeah. That's fine. All right. So you're getting this pulverized acid out. I'm not sure if there's any mechanics surrounding this. Is it listed in equipment?
It is, but it's got no description on it that I can
Right.
see.
Yeah. I think that's fine. It's just powdered acid, right? I think is the idea.
I guess.
So you can store it more easily. I assume that's what pulverized means. Yeah, you just got like a little, acid resistant bottle of this type of acid, and you can sprinkle some over this first sort of bolt or lock that's keeping you out. Can you give me a D6 roll, please?
Yes. 4.
Okay. There is some left, but only enough for one more.
Okay.
So the sort of mechanical lock mounted on this stairwell gate hisses, and after a few minutes, the mechanism inside it just sloughs out of the door, and with a very quiet clang onto the ground.
Excellent. I will move to the next gate.
Okay. You clamber up. Go for it.
Yeah, so once we're kind of climbing up the stairs, I will, once we're past the first gate, I will take out a little tiny kind of spray can of nano paint and tag the step behind the gate.
Sure. You all go up like a relatively long set of sort of grated metal stairs. You find yourself at the next one, which looks a bit more battered. You repeat. I'm assuming you're repeating it, the procedure with the acid. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You do the same again. It sloughs out in the same way again. This time, clanging a little louder as it kind of falls through a gap in the stairs and further down to the alleyway below. You make your way up and round a kind of turning slightly or set of balconies and stairs before you're at the last sort of grated gate. You can see the door into the staff room like a few feet behind it, so it's very close.
I'm now out of acid, so I pull out my chainsaw.
Just 1 second before we alert the entire block to what's going on here. There'll be plenty of bloodshed later. Just let's do it on our terms and not theirs. I'm going to take a look at the lock and see if I can jimmy it with a knife.
Sure. Give me an agility roll, please, at difficulty 12.
My agility is not trash. That is a negative.
Yeah, it ain't coming out.
Was that a nod from Hla?
That's fire her up. You have fun there.
Okay. John, can you give me a strength roll at difficulty 6, please?
Yes.
When Fur pulls the chainsaw back out, I'm going to take out my pack of real tobacco TM smokes and just stand back and watch.
Sure.
I'm going to spend a glitch to re-roll that.
Okay, yeah.
Actually, no. Can I spend a glitch to reduce by 4, right?
You have to do that before the roll.
You have to do it before the roll.
Nice try.
Pass.
Okay, after a glitch.
Takes a while to catch.
Yeah, after a couple of attempts at setting it up, the steel cutter chainsaw roars into life, and with a loud, shrieking, sparking motion, you swipe down and slice through the mechanism keeping that door in place. Half the door just fucking shears off entirely, clangs loudly to one side, but kind of catches before it tumbles to the alley below. Yeah, you can go through this door. Are you turning off your chainsaw?
I mean, I've already got it out, and I might need it again. And they've probably already heard it.
I mean, whether they've heard it inside, the city is full of noise. Like,
it is a noisy place.
It's a noisy place, and there's an entire brick wall between you and the inside. Like, it's up to you.
I think it's incredibly unlikely that they've heard that noise and gone, I think somebody's used a chainsaw to get through the door on the stairs outside.
I think I raise it over my head, and then I catch Hla's expression, and I very slowly, sadly, turn it off.
Sure.
Put it back. Pat
I mean,
it.
there have been 2 gang fights around this building in the last 24 hours
Exactly.
that we know of.
Yeah. I think, yeah. So I take it we're moving towards the that back door.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Who's got our next random roll? Is it Steve?
Sure.
Can you roll a D4 for me, please?
D4. Okay. 4.
Okay. The door looks shut. Yeah. That's all that roll was for. You had a 1 in 4 chance that someone had left it open.
Oh my god! Do it
is shut. It's like I think it's precisely. It just says burglary damaged back door. I'm going to say what that means is it's very battered. It's made of like a plate of steel, and the lock looks like it's been recently had to be rebolted on, like, you know, or a new lock has been bolted onto it. But it is a shut door. It is shut mechanically. It's going to be, you know, yeah, you're going to have to get in through it somehow. It is made of steel, and the chainsaw is called a steel cutter chainsaw. So I'm going to say if you want to carve through that, yeah, I mean, someone's going to hear that. You're pretty sure someone's going to hear if you cut through this door. But yeah, it depends who's in there, right? Maybe it's completely empty.
Let's give opening it one chance, eh? That's not what the sign says, obviously.
Can I study the door and you know, from like sort of gearhead
Yeah,
from a gearhead stance
give me a knowledge roll, sure.
Okay. 11.
Yeah, it's just a door. It's just a metal door.
I'm going to pull out my vision visor and check if there are any heat signals in the room on the other side of the door.
I don't think your vision visor works through sheet metal.
Oh, yeah, that's fair enough.
Does it? Like that?
I don't know. I've just got heat vision. Probably not.
I think the heat vision would struggle through a plate of steel.
I've also got ultrasound. That's only if they're making noises, I guess. Yeah.
Still though, that's way more likely to work, I think.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'll try that.
Chance, doesn't it?
Yeah. Do you want to give like a standard presence roll, maybe?
Yeah. I've got +1, so 20. As in, I rolled a 20, so technically 21.
Okay, so that's yeah. You know what? You're fairly sure. Let's give you this the info on this staff entrance room, but also on the main room. I think you don't think there's anyone in the staff entrance. You can't hear anything in there. And inside the main room, you can kind of just hear the sound of kind of maybe someone working on something mechanical. Like, yeah, you can hear a number of individuals, like a small number of individuals doing something mechanical. Like you can hear like little metal drawers opening and closing and little clicks and clacks.
Okay. Staff room seems clear, and maybe like some kind of maintenance in the main room. Just clicking and moving and things.
Perhaps they're collecting the chips from the slot machines.
If we can get in here quietly, this is going to be such an easy job.
Looks
okay,
at chainsaw.
If no one else has... can no one pick a lock around here? I'll take my knife out and move towards the door, hoping some doctor or professor of pickology speaks up.
Did we already try and pick the door?
No, not this one.
No.
Not this one. Okay. Okay.
I'll give it a go.
I'll stand aside.
Okay.
Proffer a throwing knife.
Absolutely. So, it is described as burglary damaged. So you know what? I think I'm going to reduce the difficulty for you here. How are you going to try it? I think you can either try it with agility for actually picking it, or given the newness of this lock, you could try and get like something behind it and just like properly just knock the lock off. Which one of those are you going to try? It's agile or strength?
I think there is a reasonable chance that Jan has at least some knowledge of lockpicking. So I'm going to go with actually picking it.
Sure. Yeah. Oh,
So
yeah,
agility.
your agility is higher than your strength. Yeah, yeah. I was going to say your strength's 2, though, but yeah, your agility is 3.
Yeah, it's not bad. Yeah.
It's not bad at all. You've definitely got the best stats in the group.
Jan is the best character from an objective standpoint.
I just rolled a 19.
Okay,
Plus
then I'm
3.
not going to bother telling you the difficulty rating. So, yeah, Jan, you kind of kneel down and take a look at it. This thing has been replaced recently as cheaply as humanly possible. Have you got like a knife or something like that? Or
Yeah, we've got things like that.
H,
I proffer the throwing knife.
Yeah.
Okay, you got a throwing
'cause
knife. That's fine.
I have a sword. Right
Yeah,
now,
yeah, yeah.
Which would probably be a bit
Sure.
unwieldy.
A bit
for me.
unwieldy, yeah. No, you can jam one of HLA's throwing knives in there and just... It's literally like you just kind of go... The door just goes ajar instantly. Not too far. It's only like just clicked within its hinges.
Fantastic. Okay, up first.
I just said before we go in, like, if we go into that lift, that office could be still full of people, so we've got to be ready.
Okay, let's hope it isn't, though. Let's hope it isn't.
Okay.
Office hours are over.
Okay, so you were all just like pushing the door open and going straight in, right?
Yes.
Okay. You push the door open and the alarm starts sounding. Because no one at any point said that they were checking if it was alarmed or wired in any way.
Oh,
So
The plan hasn't changed.
no, you're just going for it, right?
We didn't have a plan. That's fine.
No,
Yeah.
it's fine. Well, I think that's a good point to do our second break,
God.
folks. And I think we're going to have a furious last third of this story.
Yeah, we're on
there we go.
some kind of ticking clock now, aren't we?
For sure you are. So let's go with that. So let's go on a break, folks. We'll see you in about 10 minutes' time. And we have a special little break video for you here. So enjoy that. Bye. Bye.